Hey guys, what is going on? So just wanted to hop on here and talk about my body scan that I took today and compare that to the one that I had 6 weeks ago. Show the results in terms of gaining size, both in terms of lean body mass and not so lean body mass, and kind of show the comparison between my training styles and the results that they yield. So basically, to kind of fill you in, I have been focusing on strength training over the past 6 weeks because I'm trying to hit a 405 bench. That is my goal before the end of the year. I think I'm pretty close. I talk about the PRs that I've hit as of recent in my most recent video. And basically, to sum it up, it's been going quite well. And I'm happy with the results. I've been using Turkesterone while I have been trying to chase that 405 bench, and my strength numbers have been going up. And I've been focusing on, the bench press, the overhead press. I've been hitting PRs on those. And obviously, I'm neglecting some other body parts in pursuit of that goal because I believe in getting very specific with your training. And my goal right now is to increase my strength and specifically hit a 405 bench. So not really ideal in terms of bodybuilding, whereas my previous training style prior to this focus on strength training was bodybuilding style training. And I saw quite a large increase in terms of my overall lean body mass as I was, hitting every muscle group regularly with adequate volume. But my strength numbers weren't really progressing at the rate that I would like, which is why I shifted to strength training. And thus I have been getting results in that department. So basically, here is my body scan result from today. If you look, I've gained 4.8 pounds of fat mass and 0.7 pounds of lean mass, which is within, a margin of error where that could mean that I've basically not gained anything. Potentially this is a bit low and maybe I've gained like 1.5 pounds. I don't really know. Obviously these things can vary to some extent. But basically my conclusion with this would be I've probably gained a bit of muscle, but nothing substantial over the 6-week period. But I've gained a substantial amount of strength. And I think that is logical. This kind of reinforces what I've been talking about this whole time, which is if you want to gain muscle, then there are specific exercises and a specific training style that I think is more beneficial than just trying to progressively overload all the time, specifically on, these compound lifts and kind of neglecting other muscle groups that don't get as much attention. So for me, I'm willing to kind of have a slower rate of muscle growth to achieve my goal of hitting a 405 bench. I want to be highly specific. I want the amount of volume that I do to be very specific and to be able to recover from that. And thus I allocate all my volume to getting stronger. Now, when I was bulking before and I wasn't doing bench press even, my bench had actually gone down not only from where it was at previously, but actually worse than it was prior to ever taking Turkesterone because I was not being specific. I actually failed a 350 bench, even though my bench prior to Turkesterone was 355. So currently it is 395 and I'm going for 405. So obviously, since I've been adding strength training back in, I've gained all that back and more. But that is just the way that it goes for me. I'm not saying this applies to everybody, but I think that lesson can kind of be learned in terms of, be specific with your training, assuming you're more advanced and you can't have it both ways. Now, when you're early on and you're, making gains all the time, regardless, even if you're not on Turkesterone or anything like that, you can get bigger and stronger at very impressive rates simultaneously. You don't really need to be super specific. And some people just straight up train both all year round. And I don't necessarily think that's optimal for either, but everybody's body responds differently. Some people can handle X amount of volume better than others. Some people require more volume in a specific exercise than others. So this is just what I found that works for me. But that is me kind of explaining my progress there. Now, going over kind of this more overarching theme, if we look at where I was at on July 11th when I started my, when I ended my cut, started my bulk, I was at 193.8 pounds of lean body mass. Now, my highest ever was back when I bulked on Turkesterone towards the end of last year. And I hit a 196 lean body mass score. And I actually was able to get to 195 on my cut before this July 11th date, which is when I started to kind of regress a bit, both in terms of my strength as well as losing a little bit of lean body mass. So I decided to start the bulk at this point. And like I said, started at 193.8. And over the course of my bulk, all of these body scans prior to this most recent one, I was focusing on bodybuilding. And this big spike right here to over 200 happened when I started taking Intelligent Elephant Ectosterone. Because prior to that, I was taking huge Ectosterone. I was making gains, but they were relatively slow. And then boom, Intelligent Elephant had this huge spike in lean body mass, which is a similar situation that I had when I first started Turkesterone, and then I upped my dose. And I was able to actually, get 0.7 pounds higher than that here today. So clearly the rate of progress for my lean body mass was higher when I was on Ectosterone, specifically when I was on Intelligent Elephant, but I was training in a bodybuilding style fashion, right? As opposed to now, I'm focusing on strength training. So in my experience, Turkesterone seemed to yield better results for sure in terms of strength numbers, but overall I actually gained more lean body mass on Turkesterone as well. But it's hard to kind of compare apples to apples. And obviously, considering I'm strength training right now, this only 0.7 pound lean body mass increase, while it is good, is not the same rate that I was experiencing before. So I do plan to, like I said, get back into bodybuilding. And you have to figure that there's going to be some diminishing returns with this. I can't just continue to gain like pounds of lean body mass month after month, year after year, right? This is eventually going to fade. It looks like it already is fading, but I would suggest that that's probably due to just the nature of my training, but we will see. So like I said, the plan is to hit a 405 bench and then get back into bodybuilding. I don't know how much longer I'm going to bulk, but I'm currently about 241. I can probably take it to about 250 before I would want to lose some fat. So we'll see how long that takes. Currently, I'm having a hard time gaining weight. One other factor that I didn't mention, over this 6-week period, specifically over the past 4 weeks, I have been struggling to gain weight. I've basically been at 240 for the whole month. The first, 2 weeks of that 6-week period, I was still putting on weight really quickly. And so obviously that lean body mass is going to go up at a faster rate when I'm bulking really hard. Whereas at this point in the bulk, it's very hard for me to get the calories in, and therefore, the lean body mass increase rate is probably slower. But I'm going to try and put my foot on the gas a little bit more once I get back into bodybuilding again, because I feel like my calories will go to, have a bit better use when I'm actually training all my muscles, getting adequate volume for all those muscle groups, as opposed to just going for a 405 bench. So that's the situation. Those are my opinions on my style of training. That's why I do the things that I do. And I'm looking to make some more progress, hopefully hit that 405 bench here pretty soon, and then get back on the bodybuilding train for a bit more before I maybe cut. I don't really know, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.